Let me make this very clear because, again, it's very important. Under current law, the next election will be in 2020. No ifs, no buts, no snap elections, no changing the law. Under you, is that absolutely certain that we're not going to see an election before 2020?
I'm not going to be calling a snap election.
Way ahead in the polls, Theresa May calls a snap general election for June the 8th.
General election.
You're joking. Not another one?
The ayes to the right, 522. The noes to the left, 13.
Well, we've had what, in the words of one of my sources, said 100% lies for weeks and weeks and weeks that there would be no early election. And yet, I have to say the logic of holding a poll now was pretty big.
Last summer, after the country voted to leave the European Union, Britain needed certainty, stability, and strong leadership. And since I became Prime Minister, the government has delivered precisely that.
That doesn't mean that this is a risk-free option by Theresa May. It is a gamble. She has lied. We'll have some days of her being accused of lying.
Our opponents believe, because the government's majority is so small, that our resolve will weaken and that they can force us to change course. They are wrong. I don't think there's a need for an election. I think the next election should be in 2020. There should be no general election until 2020. That the government should call a general election to be held on the 8th of June.
Everybody's sick of it. Well, I am anyway.
We're all sick of it, yeah.
Well, we've been calling for an early general election since Theresa May became Prime Minister without there being an election last summer. So it's an opportunity for the country, more importantly, to say this is the direction they want the country to go in, not the direction, the extreme direction that Theresa May is taking us in.
I welcome the opportunity for us to put the case to the people of Britain, to stand up against this government and its failed economic agenda, which has left our NHS in problems, which has left our schools underfunded, which has left so many people uncertain.
It's the mother of all U-turns. I think we all know why this has happened. I think what has precipitated this change is...
Why do you think
well, she's seen the polls over the weekend. She's seen that the Conservative Party are at least 20 points ahead of the Labour Party. And she's gone for it. I think it's pretty cynical. I actually don't think it's very good for the country because I think it creates instability. And it's strange, isn't it, that she was saying that Nicola Sturgeon can't have a referendum on independence before 2020 because it would create uncertainty. A general election creates more uncertainty than anything else.
Well, this is the biggest U-turn in recent political history, but it's very clear that the Prime Minister's announcement today is one all about the narrow interests of her own party, not the interests of the country overall. You know, clearly she sees the opportunity, given the total disarray in the ranks of the Labour Party, to crush all opposition to her, to get rid of people that disagree with her, and to give herself a free hand to take the country in the increasingly right-wing direction that she wants to take it in.
At the end of the day, Theresa May was never voted in. So I think for her to continue, for everything for the leaving Europe, I think she needs that mandate to the people backing, and I think she'll get it.
At this moment of enormous national significance, there should be unity here in Westminster. But instead, there is division. The country is coming together, but Westminster is not. I think what's important, particularly having had the referendum vote, is that we have a period of stability.
Well, I always assumed that she would go for an early election at some point. I thought that she needed a mandate of her own, and after she was elected, or rather appointed Tory leader last summer. But of course, like the rest of us today, has come as a surprise. Luckily, we're prepared.
We're challenging the economic narrative which says that there has to be huge cuts in public expenditure in order to pay for the banking crisis of 2008. We're saying instead, invest in the economy, invest in the future. We are a party that will put forward a case that will bring about a much fairer, much more decent country than we're getting at the present time, where we have massive inequalities between the very rich minority and, sadly, too many people living in desperate poverty at the other end of the scale.
The perception around here from my friends, who are, I think a lot of them are Labour supporters, is that it's become a sort of metropolitan elite group of people that are distanced themselves from ordinary working class people. And I think that's something that he's going to find it very difficult to overcome.
UKIP will fight this election hard. It's a Brexit election. Politics is on our turf now. It's a bit like the European elections of 2014 that we won, and we're pretty confident going in.
I've got a mandate for a second independence referendum. I won that mandate at the Scottish Parliament elections last year, and of course the Scottish Parliament has since voted by majority for that position. So that mandate is there and it's clear. This election will be about the kind of country we want Scotland to be, and whether we want the Tories to have a free hand in determining that, or whether we want to make sure that we stand up for Scotland's public services, for public spending, against further Tory austerity. These are the issues that will be to the fore in this campaign, and I look forward to leading a campaign on them.
I can't affect the result of the last election. I can jolly well affect the result of the next one, and the team here today are there to do just that.